Hey everyone, welcome back to Dinner's Gonna Be a Little Late Tonight. It's our, how many shows is this, Patty?
18.
Okay. We should be starting to get our groove by now, by 18 weeks of doing this.
I hope so. If we don't, I'm not sure we want to know. Please tell us.
So anyway, hi everyone, thanks for joining us. This week, what are we making, Patty?
We are making lemon garlic marinated lamb chops. And John's going to tell you about this really special recipe. And
a mint vinaigrette, right?
Yes, with the mint vinaigrette and cream spinach, which is week 2 of one of my favorite recipes from my mom. Super, super easy. So, but John has something he wants to share first. John had a little bit of a stressful morning.
All right.
I think it's good.
So I needed to go to the store. I know, I need to get it out. I needed to go to the store this morning because I forgot I didn't have this mustard that we need for this recipe. So I was like, oh, well, I'm at the store. I'll get a couple other things. So I'm walking around and I'm in a hurry and it's morning and I'm trying to start my day. So it's like 8:30 in the morning. I'm not quite awake. So I'm walking around Vaughn's. I'm like putting all my stuff in my basket. I'm like rushing. You know how it is. I know you know how it is. So I get to the front and I'm ready to check out. And I look down and I'm like, this isn't my shit. This isn't my basket. I had somehow absconded with someone else's cart and started putting my things in. So I didn't know which ones were mine and which ones were theirs. And it was like this whole thing. And so the woman at the register gets on the loudspeaker and says, if you're missing your cart, we have the culprit up front. So it's like she full on shamed me. It was like, anyway. So then he comes up and he's like not happy. I don't know, did not have he did not get up on the right side of the bed. He was not a happy camper. So I quickly just got my stuff out of his thing, put his stuff, and I was like, okay, thanks. And I went about my way. But I had to call Patty on the way home because I was like, wow, that was a really stressful morning.
I was like,
have you ever done it?
I've never done it, but I've had it done to me. And I've had it done a few times. I thought the guy was trying to flirt with me, to be honest. But yeah, you're that guy. But I'm sorry you ran into it.
I was trying to flirt with you.
Yeah, you're trying to flirt for someone. Well, did he have anything interesting in his cart? That's what I want to know. Did he have any wine or ice cream, cookies?
No. I didn't even know there was such a thing as sweet potato. I didn't even know there was such a thing as sweet potato puffs. Did you?
No, remember, I never even ate a sweet potato until we started this show. So
Okay. Before we start though, what is the grossest thing you've ever had to make for Thanksgiving dinner? Grossest thing. It was on demand, someone had to have it, and you were forced to make this thing. What is it?
I don't have anything because I wouldn't make it because I'm a spoiled brat. But I feel like maybe you had to make something gross.
No, but my friend Kathleen did.
Uh-oh.
who texted me and said, hey, what's your recipe for sweet potatoes with marshmallows on top? And I was like, oh, bless your heart. I don't have a recipe for that.
No.
And she's like, yeah, me neither. I don't even like it, but I'm supposed to bring it to this dinner. And then we got into this whole back and forth about the things that people have traditions for food on Thanksgiving that maybe everyone else doesn't like. Yeah. So anyway, ours is ambrosia salad, but yeah. We'll talk about that another time.
I saw that blog. I was like, okay, John, I'm sure it's great.
Yeah.
It's old school.
Canned mandarin oranges and Cool Whip has got to be great.
Sydney, Scott's aunt. So Sydney's great aunt made that. And Sydney, when she was little, she loved going to Aunt Ellen's and have that. She just loved it. I never made it. So.
I'm telling you. All right, so today we're going to make this delicious lamb loin chops that have been marinated in lemon and garlic and a bunch of other delicious things. And the recipe is from the corporate executive chef at Perdue Farms. Now, you know that I'm a Perdue Farms ambassador. And they sent these beautiful lamb chops to Patty and I so that we can make this dish. But I don't know how to make them. And lamb is one of those things that kind of intimidates me. So I love to eat it, but I don't make it a lot. So I reached out to Chris, Chef Chris, who's the corporate executive chef at Perdue, and he sent me one of his very own recipes. And it has a lot of meaning to him. There's a story behind it, which I'll share in a minute. But I love that he shared his recipe, and so we're sharing it with you. And it's super simple. So it makes me feel like, oh, I can make lamb. This isn't that hard.
It isn't. It is. I love to cook lamb. Well, I don't actually cook it. I do the part I do here, like the marinating. Scott usually grills it. And John, I want you to just flush that fear of lamb right out of your system, because I've been at your house. You're a grill master, and you can do it the way we're going to do it today with the cast iron and finishing it in the oven, or you can do it on the barbecue. And this lamb from Perdue is insanely beautiful.
Look at this lamb, you guys. I mean, look at these chops of lamb. Can you see how beautiful these are? I don't know if you can see very well on the lighting, but they're almost like they're picture. I tried to take a picture of them earlier, and I'll put it on the blog, but they're gorgeous. I mean, they're just beautiful. So I hope they're as beautiful after we're done cooking them.
Mine are all marinated, and they smell amazing. So I think we're onto something. I don't think the chef would let us down. So we're going to make the cream spinach first.
Hi, Elise.
Because that's how we would do it in real life. So the cool thing about this cream spinach recipe is it just takes a few minutes to make, and you can make it. It's great for holidays, or it's always like a family. It's a special occasion because we just love the cream spinach, and there's never enough. I even doubled the recipe, and I can tell you that's not enough. So it's super easy to make. You make it in the Cuisinart, and then literally like when you're done with everything else for your dish and you're almost ready to plate, then all you do is pop it in the microwave and heat it, and then add the little topping. So let's get going. So
I'm glad we're making this because I love cream spinach. It is one of my favorite things. All right, so what are we doing?
I hope you like this one. So this is a recipe from my mother. So of course it's going to be a little unorthodox. I did come up with portions. So we're going to just do it in the Cuisinart. So I think the hardest thing, personally, about making cream spinach is squeezing the water out of the spinach. Am I right?
Yep, not fun.
Not fun.
Frozen spinach, squeezing the water out, not so fun.
I do a little hack, and I saw something similar to it, on the internet, or as my husband would say, on the web, where you take this cream spinach and you put it in a strainer, and then I take another strainer on top and just put it in the sink and then just like muscle it out. So that way,
two strainers. Who has two strainers?
Oh, I have like 6. Who are you? Oh, now I know what to get you for Christmas. They came in a set on Amazon. They match my kitchen. But the cool thing about it is you can squeeze it and you don't get the spinach on your fingers because, it sticks to everything.
Love it.
That's a little simple, easy hack.
I'm totally doing that.
Yeah.
Oh.
And, I like to get my aggressions out when I cook, and that's another thing that you can do. So here's your spinach. This is super easy, guys. So I've strained it, I've squeezed out all the extra moisture, and I've kind of broken it up with my fork. Now, I think more traditional cream spinach, like you find in a restaurant, uses cream, right? Hence the name.
So I can just put it in?
Yep. So my family, sour cream. I don't know why. Probably because it was either easier, my father didn't want whipping cream, or my mother didn't have whipping cream one day, or cream and decided to make it with sour cream instead. So all we're doing is we're throwing in about a half a cup of sour cream. So we started with 2 boxes of frozen spinach, half a cup of sour cream. Now I'm going to add some yellow onion, cut up, white onion, whatever. You could even use a shallot, or you don't even have to use the onion if you don't want to. And you can adjust the quantity according to your desires or who you want to kiss later. And let's see what's next. We did our cream, we did our spinach, our sour cream, our onion. Then, and I'm not really sure you need this, but I think it just adds a little more interest to the flavor profile. I love saying things like that, flavor profile. Just a little bit of softened butter. Because why? Everything's better with butter.
Okay, butter.
Check. And now just And remember, old school, patty thin, patty one, couple of shakes of garlic powder, or you could definitely use fresh garlic. You could use garlic paste. You could use puree garlic. Like, not very much, like an eighth of a teaspoon. We don't really want it. There's a lot of different flavors in here. Same thing with nutmeg, just a shake, just a little shake, and it just adds that little bit of.
Okay, because I'm not big on nutmeg, so just a little, right?
Yeah, like a tiny, like a pinch.
Okay.
It's not going to taste nutmeggy. It just gives it a little, kind of balances out.
The only thing I like nutmeg on is eggnog.
Me too. It's almost time. Time to buy eggnog. See, naughty, nice, whatever. I got a letter from Santa today. Well, to Santa. Sydney sent me her letter to Santa, care of mom.
Uh-huh.
It's very cute. She said she'd been a pretty good girl this year. Worcestershire, John, your favorite.
Okay, I love to call it Worcestershire sauce. Worcestershire sauce.
We learned all about Worcestershire.
We did. We learned about it in another show when we made beef stroganoff, because beef stroganoff calls for Worcestershire sauce. And there's a whole story behind that. So watch that episode, because it's not what you think it is. Maybe you shouldn't watch the episode because, but it tastes good.
It tastes great. So just a couple of shakes. So this, and then the last thing, which is like my favorite thing, and I have to be careful not to use too much, is a couple splashes of red wine vinegar. So this is one of those recipes. Start off with a little. We're going to taste it. If you want more, you can have more. So now we're just going to be really noisy for a second.
Oh, so now we're doing it? That was it?
Sure, that's it.
What about salt and pepper?
Oh, I want to do it and then taste it, and then we'll add salt and pepper.
Okay. Oh, I'm doing this wrong.
Oh my God, it's pretty quiet.
Okay, I'm doing it. Is it happening at your house?
What? All right. So the one thing, so I'm scraping down the sides, seeing how it is. Oh, it's nice and creamy. The thing about it is it doesn't look like it makes a lot, but it's very rich. So the portions are not going to be huge on your plate. And the other thing to be cautious of with the salt and pepper, the salt mostly, is we're going to add some toppings that are very salty. So you don't want the spinach to be too salty.
Okay, is it supposed to be soupy or really thick? Mine's really thick.
Then add a little more sour cream to thin it out.
Oh. Hold on, I'll be right back.
Okay. Ooh, so do you guys want to talk about John while he's gone? What do you want to know? Ask me anything. Thanks, Elise. I agree. Everything is better with butter. Oh, you know what? I'm going to talk about, while we're waiting for John, what the heck do you think he's doing? We're going to add the toppings that we put on the cream spinach are, why is this wet? Grated cheddar cheese and bacon. And if you saw John's Two Dads with Baggage post last night, he was talking about my bacon hack. If he did forget the sour cream, it would be very thick. No, okay. I saw sour cream. You're back. Okay.
I have a question, though.
Yes.
Yep, Elise is right. Elise says, I think he forgot the sour cream.
Is that what you? I thought you showed it to me.
I do have the sour cream, but I don't think it was enough, because here's the thing. They didn't have boxes of spinach at the store. Okay. And in my morning haste, I bought bags of spinach, which I think is more. I bought 2 bags of spinach. I think it's more, right? So should I double everything? Okay.
Well, maybe not right now. Maybe later.
You people go about your business.
Yeah.
Go about me over here in the corner.
You are so lucky, because now you're going to have twice as much. Yeah, the bags are bigger, and you can totally use a bag. So I was just going to talk about the bacon hack for a second. So the reason I'm holding this little baking pan is because, did he add more spinach? Just line it with foil. Put your pieces of bacon, your strips of bacon down. 400 degrees oven, about 20 minutes, just depending on how you want it. If you want it really crispy for like crumbles for like this or a salad, you're going to cook it a little longer. If you like it nice and limp, I like it almost disgustingly soft, you're going to cook it for less. But the great thing about cooking the bacon in the oven, if you don't already do this, it's life-changing. You don't have to watch it. It doesn't splatter all over the place. It comes out nice and flat. And I have a small pan here because that's all I needed for this recipe and for the Cobb salad I made the other night with my leftover turkey. But, you know, if you're having a lot of people over, like when my family goes to visit John's family, and you can use a big huge pan. So that's my bacon hack. So let's see how mine looks.
That worked.
Did that work?
Yep.
Yeah. All right. So I need to do mine for about another 30 seconds. Maybe not even that. I'm going to add some salt and pepper. Taste it, John. Taste it and tell me what you think.
Okay. I'll be right back, though. You taste it.
All right. I'm going to add a little pepper. And as I said, you don't want to use too much salt because you're going to have cheddar cheese and bacon on top. So those are two salty things. Loves of my life, TBH, right? So that's how easy it is to make this cream spinach. Like I said, then normally I would transfer it to a bowl, and then when all of my other dishes were ready, I would just pop it in the microwave. Or if you're cooking for holiday, for Christmas, this is our go-to. In fact, for our Christmas dinner, our favorite dinner is lamb, but I make a rack of lamb with a little different recipe, but similar. The cream spinach and the scalloped potatoes, because again, everything is better with butter. So the spinach is a great accompaniment to the lamb, which we will make as soon as, I don't know what he's doing. Is he like in the witness protection program? Did he get busted? I don't know.
Okay, I'm back.
You're like, where's Waldo today?
Well, no, so Sophia's car's in the shop. Ava's car's in the shop. Sophia needed to get to work, so she's driving my car, and yeah.
She's lucky.
She is. It's the first time she's driven the Range Rover, and so I had to give her a quick lesson. So that's why I was going off camera and back. Getting the kids organized, yeah.
I'm impressed with your multitasking, John.
So now what are we doing? What did I miss?
Well, did you finish your spinach?
Yeah.
Did you taste it?
No.
Oh my God, it was so good. Let's do that every week.
Hey, Kathleen. Kathleen's on. Okay. Were you on when I was talking about you? Because I was calling you out for your sweet potatoes and marshmallows. And if you didn't hear it, you missed out.
So the spinach is done. So I'm gonna kick it over to John.
Ooh, that's good.
Isn't it good?
That is good.
And as I said, don't put too much salt in because we're gonna put bacon and cheddar.
You know what it tastes like? It tastes like spinach dip. Have you ever tried to eat it like with French bread?
You could.
Wow, it's good.
It is.
It is good. All right, so should we start making the lamb?
Yep, I think so.
Okay, we are going to use a cast iron skillet. And if you don't have a cast iron skillet, you should actually have one. And they're not scary. I was really scared about it. It's like, it really isn't. It's just different than any other pan that you have. So you don't use soap to clean it. It cures. So the oils from the meat and all that stuff sort of cure the pan. And in time, it just gets better and better. I'm just going to turn it on low right now to start heating it up because the cast iron pan takes a little while to heat up. And we're going to make our lemon garlic marinated lamb loins. Excuse me.
Let's
these. But we're going to make the marinade, and then while it's cooking, we're going to make the vinaigrette, which is going to be drizzled on top afterwards. So this is super easy. Again, we're starting with these delicious lamb chops from Perdue Farms, which are actually from Neiman Ranch, which Perdue Farms owns. And you can buy them on the website at PerdueFarms.com if you want to. And if you want to use my affiliate code, then you can get 15% off your first order. So if you're feeling it, then go to the blog, and I'll make sure that you have the code so that you can order yourself. Oh, look, Chef Chris is watching. Hey! Okay, we're about to get started. This is the man I was telling you about. This is the chef, the corporate executive chef at Perdue Farms, and that he is the man. So he shared this story with me that comes from his childhood because he grew up in England. And in England, on Sunday, his mom would make these delicious dinners, and lamb was often on the menu. And in this country, lamb gets served a lot of times with that disgusting mint jelly, which is so nasty and so American. So thank goodness that Chris brought his British sensibilities over when he moved here. And so we're having a mint vinaigrette, which is a much, much better, much tastier upscale version of mint jelly. So gross and yay. So we're going to start with, we're going to make this really, really easy marinade. And it's going to start with 2 tablespoons of olive oil. So I've got my olive oil, I'm putting in a bowl. There we go. And then we have made some, we have made some lemon, what is this called, Chris?
Zest.
Lemon zest. Lemon zest. Okay, Chris said you should do this with a microplaner. I'm not even sure I know what that is, Chris.
Let me show you, John.
Oh, you have one. Oh, okay.
I love gadgets.
Okay, wait, hold it up to the camera. Is it like...
It's like
Oh, I have one of those. That's what I used. I just didn't know that's what it was called.
That's what I for zesting. So
see how it goes? All right, so lemon zest into the bowl. And then, of course, we have to have our garlic. So 3 cloves of garlic into the bowl. And this is already smelling delicious. And I would be happy with it just like that. Lemon, olive oil, and garlic. Delicious.
Yum.
So the only other things that we need to add are salt and pepper. So kosher salt and a little cracked black pepper. And literally that's it. It's ready to go. So I'm putting in the salt. I'm putting in the pepper. And then we're going to marinate these chops. Now, I marinate things like this. And I don't know if you guys do it this way or not, but I put it in a Ziploc bag because it's really easy for the meat and the marinade to combine, and I can mush it up and I can spread it around. And so it looks like this. So Chef Chris suggests that we do this at least 4 hours in advance. So for the sake of the show, I did these this morning, which is why I was rushing around and had that whole Vaughn's episode at the grocery store. But anyway, I've done 3 of them. This pack comes with 6, but just to show you, I've done 3 of them, and they're marinating in this nice Ziploc bag. Patty, do you do that too?
I do. It's great. And it's, then you don't have to deal with another bowl, and it's easier to fit in the refrigerator. And it's also, if you're marinating things, you can flip them over if they're not completely immersed in a different kind of marinade, like with flank steak or something. I love it. This marinade smelled so good at 8 o'clock in the morning. It's like I had to kind of psych myself up to chop 3 garlic cloves, but I was like, oh, the lemon and the olive oil, yum, yum, yum.
Lemon, garlic, olive oil. There's something about that combo. So we're going to go from these beautiful chops. God, they're gorgeous. And now we're going to use the marinated ones. So we're going to put them right in the pan. And you don't need to put anything. You don't need to put anything in the pan because remember, this cast iron pan is already seasoned. So it has a little bit of deliciousness already in it. And the marinade has olive oil in it. So we don't need anything else.
Okay, am I doing it? Because this is where I get nervous.
So we're going to sear these. And by searing them, we just put them in the hot pan. And we cook them quickly on either side, and then we're going to put them in the oven. So I'm just putting these in the pan, and we're just going to cook them for a couple minutes on each side. And I'll tell you that Chef Chris is into meat temperature, which all corporate and executive chefs and all trained chefs, they cook their meat based on temperature. And me not going to the Culinary Institute of America, I do it by time. And so the recipe that Chris gave me wants you to do everything by temperature, and I included that in the blog post and the recipe that I'm sharing later. But I also put time. so that if you are like me and you cook things by the clock instead of a thermometer, you'll have both options. So we're just gonna leave this for a couple minutes on either side. Pan's gotta be pretty hot, and we're not trying to cook it through, because remember, we're gonna put it in the oven and that's gonna finish it. So right now, we're just cooking it to sear it on either side to give it a little bit of a crisp.
Tell me when to turn it.
Well, I'll check, but it's not ready.
Okay. So do you ever cook by touch?
Well, yeah. So can you cook lamb that way too? And again, like I'm kind of a lamb novice.
That would be a question for Chef. That's how Scott usually cooks.
Okay, Chef Chris, can you do it by touch? I know I cook steaks that way, but can you cook lamb that way too? Because then you sort of feel the firmness of the cook, and then you know whether it's done. But I don't know. Maybe that works with lamb. I don't know. Okay, these are almost ready.
Okay.
Yeah, they're ready. We can turn them over.
Are we turning?
And again, remember, oh, that smells so good. That lemon and garlic. Oh, I love that.
John, I'm turning. He said, Doran. Oh, look at that.
Okay, Chris, what's guesswork? He's saying no guesswork. So does that mean no, you should use guesswork? Or no, John, no guesswork? What are you telling me?
You have to guess.
I'm going to guess. Okay, so what we're going to do is, as soon as these are seared on both sides, we're going to throw this in the oven. And I've been preheating the oven at 350 degrees, and that's what Chef Chris told us to do. And so then we're going to throw this in the oven, and while it's in the oven, we're going to make the vinaigrette. And it's only going to take a couple minutes. So I'm going to let this sear for a couple more minutes just to make sure we get that crispy edge. And then we're going to throw it in. Okay, here he comes. He says, touch is guessing.
Oh.
And so we don't want to guess. This is an expert. I'm a novice. So I get it. I'm going to stick to the clock while Chef Chris is going to have us do temperature. I do have a meat thermometer that is trick, and I got it from Williams-Sonoma, and it sits on the counter and it has this little cord that goes into the meat, and I use it to cook our Thanksgiving turkey, and it was perfect. So I do have one, but I'm not doing it today. Okay, so you think these are ready, Patty? How are yours?
I think they're ready.
Oh yeah, mine are too.
All right.
Okay, so now we're just going to take the whole pan and put it into the oven. So here it goes. Right? Yeah. And that's the beauty. That's the beauty of a cast iron pan. And some nonstick pans, you can do it too. You can take it right from the stove and put it right into the oven. And as long as you don't have the kind where the handle melts, then you're good to go, right?
My mom did that so many times.
She did?
Oh my gosh, there is so many things that were burned. Like, you leave the spoon too close to the stove and the handle burns. Come on, raise your hand if you've ever burned a wooden spoon. Chef isn't raising his hand, I don't think, but done it out a few times, yeah.
Okay, we're gonna make the vinaigrette now.
All righty.
And it is also super easy. So the vinaigrette is a 1/4 cup of olive oil. And then some delicious things that only a Brit, Chris, only a Brit would call for. Pomeray mustard, which I couldn't even find, Chef Chris. So I had to use a whole grain mustard other than that. But that is a traditional British mustard that's like 400 and something years old, the company, right? So that mustard and Worcestershire sauce were probably invented at the same time by neighbors who were into cooking. I don't know. Was it an accident, do you think? Okay, so we've got that. And now we're going to put a tablespoon of lemon juice. And 2 tablespoons. Are you ready? Are you with me?
No, I said I read that at one point when I was trying to find the mustard, there was like a tariff that you couldn't even get it in the United States in the early 2000s. It was quite a controversy. So, anyway.
All right. So now I'm putting in 2 tablespoons of malt vinegar. And, of course, to give it a little bit of sweetness, some honey.
Are you watching the lamb, John?
I'm not. I don't need to. It's in there for 4 to 5 minutes. Do I need to watch the lamb, Chris? I'll take a peek. How's that? But before I do that, I put the honey, and now I'm putting 2 tablespoons of chopped fresh mint. So this is what's making it so delicious, and the British version of that nasty mint jelly that some Americans put on theirs, which I can't believe.
I'm very impressed that Scott grew this mint. We don't have a beautiful garden and like John does. John grows everything, but Scott grew this mint.
That's awesome.
Yes.
In your garden.
I didn't even know he had it. I was talking about the recipe, and he said, honey, we have mint. I was like, oh, is that what that green plant is? Oh.
So full disclosure, my mint plants did not make it through my non-watering period. And so I have to replant them. And so I had to go to the store this morning, which is why we had that little story. So I'm just mixing up the vinaigrette. Boy. And we're just going to do a little salt and pepper.
So I have a recipe for mint burgers that you make with ground lamb, and you put goat cheese in the middle, and it's a vinaigrette that's very similar to this. It's lemon juice, raspberry vinegar, white wine vinegar, and fresh mint, and a little super fine sugar. So it's a very similar, I get to say it again, flavor profile.
Flavor profile. Okay, Chris is saying that it might take a little longer than 5 minutes since the chops were so thick. Look at those things. I think these are at least 2.5 inches, maybe 3 inches on one side. So yeah, that's pretty thick. So he's thinking that maybe it needs to stay in the oven just a tiny bit longer, which is fine.
All right. So also the recipe says to taste the vinaigrette, doesn't it?
Oh, well, I think we should taste it.
Yum.
Dang, that's good.
Isn't it?
So that combined with the marinade is going to be so delicious. So very good.
The bomb.
Okay, I'm checking.
All right.
Look, I'm touching. I don't know. I think they're done.
Yay!
So then, I'm taking them out. So then Chef Chris tells us that we should let it sit for a couple of minutes because it will continue to cook. So it's going to sit there for a couple of minutes before we plate it.
Yes.
Now, I love to serve lamb or beef with roasted potatoes. And so although today we're not making roasted potatoes, I think if I was making this for dinner or we had friends coming over after the pandemic is over, this is a great and easy dish to make when you have people over. And so I'd probably make roast potatoes, which you can make and have done already because that's easy to do in advance. And Patty's cream spinach, right, Patty?
Yep.
Which is easy to do in advance.
Yeah.
And then these lamb chops, which take like maybe 15 minutes from start to finish in the cooking process. So it comes together like that. And you don't have to spend the whole time in the kitchen while you have people over in the living room having good times and fun without you, right?
Yeah, and you can make the vinaigrette in advance. You can make everything in advance and just finish up the lamb when you're ready to go.
Yeah.
All right. So while our meat is resting, I think it's time for this week's wine pairing recommendation from Psalm Sydney. So Sydney recommends a Shiraz, which is the Australian version of Syrah. So I think John's enjoying a Syrah today. I'm going to be pouring a Shiraz in just a minute. Sydney says lamb and Syrah is a classic pairing. So she says that it's big and bold. So what we're having today, I'll tell you about it. This is Tyrrell's Rufus Stone Shiraz from Australia. There are 5 generations of winemakers. And the rufus, oh, don't tell Sydney I just spilled like that. I will be fired. But then again, I am Santa Claus, so she has to be nice to me for the next few weeks. Rufus Stone refers to a famous location where a Tyrrell ancestor, allegedly King William II, who is known as Rufus. So you can see the deep, rich color. Can you see that? Indicates its intensity. But let's talk about this varietal for a second first. So this is a big and bold, check, and it's fruit forward with great tannins that have a bit of grip to them. So fruit forward, another buzzword. What is that? So fruit forward is just a popular term to describe a style of wine where the fruit flavors are dominant. It doesn't mean it's a sweet wine. It just means that it's bursting with fruit smells. So when I smell this, yep, plum, dark cherries. I love that. It's so fun if you're getting into wine or if you're a wine connoisseur to taste wine and think, can I smell what they're telling me I should smell? I think it's super fun. So this has green notes of eucalyptus and mint. Remember, what goes together grows together. And in most iterations, it's unique to the terroir. So what is terroir? Another phrase that this one I really like. Fruit forward, I feel is maybe a little overdone because my husband says it all the time, but I love terroir. So terroir is a French term that means a sense of place. And it's kind of like the role Mother Nature plays in winemaking. It describes the environmental conditions, like the soil and the climate where grapes are grown, and that give wine its unique flavor and aroma. And then the winemaking process, the winemaker also, of course, impacts that too. So the other thing Sydney told us, and why did she choose this wine with the lamb? She said the deep earth component to finish while still maintaining a fresh acid to brighten it up. So again, the earth, the terroir is going to impact the flavor. And then the mint vinaigrette is a perfect complement to the wine, while the game from the lamb can stand up to this boldness. So last thing she said was, there's also, if you don't like a Syrah, you don't want to try a Syrah, try a Bordeaux. It's a classic pairing with a lot of similar notes. The Bordeaux has a little more green pepper, but it's still bold and tannin and a bit more smoky, dusty earth and great acid. So if you've never tried a Shiraz or a Syrah or a Bordeaux, when you go to make this recipe, grab a bottle. And thank you to 111 Wine Shop for hooking us up. Cheers.
That's so
good.
She loves her wine, and she's so good at teaching us. So if you want to follow her on Instagram, she's at Psalm Sydney, and she has a lot of really cool things to share. So,
she does.
And besides that, she's Patty's daughter. So yeah. So I'm curious about the fruit forward. This is not fruit forward.
It is fruit forward. It is. Forward. So
okay, that's good because that's something that I've had said about me a number of times.
Yeah. So.
Okay, sorry.
Sweet. It's like I can totally smell the plum and the cherries.
Okay, are we ready to plate this?
We are, although I really just kind of want to stand here and drink some more of this wine. I'll just have one more sip. I'll be right with you.
All right, so
okay.
And like when you order this delicious package of meat from Perdue Farms, where I'm an ambassador, have to disclose that, you get 6 in the set. And I made 3 to show you today, and 3 we left behind to prepare later. So I've got this delicious 3, look, perfect, with that sear on them that Chris had us do in the pan on top of the stove. And then they went into the oven to finish. And then we let them sit for a little bit. They continue to cook and to calm down. And you should always let meat sit after you've cooked it, so that all the juices sort of stay inside the meat. If you cut it right away, all the juices flow out, and you end up with this dry piece of meat in a wet puddle, which is not delicious.
No. So don't forget your cream spinach. I'm really nervous that Chef is watching. How's our plating, Chef? That's my favorite part. Without the eating. I love the eating. Oh, thank you.
We got so good.
Oh, this looks amazing.
And it smells so good.
So good.
After we've plated the lamb, then we drizzle the vinaigrette over the top. So you get this sort of really beautiful coloration of the meat. You can see on Patty's plate and on mine, where you've got the mint, the fresh mint, and the grains of the mustard, and then all the rest of the vinaigrette ingredients all sort of blending on top of that meat. So you have that really unctuous meat, so delicious, and then that kind of crisp vinaigrette that goes on the top, and combine that with this delicious creamy spinach. Ooh, that is a delicious meal.
It is. And when I was making it or reading the recipes, the other thing I thought of, so when I was little, my food couldn't touch. Like one food could not touch the other food. And I was like, ooh, it'd be really yummy if some of this vinaigrette just wandered over to my spinach, because I think that's just make the spinach even tastier. So,
oh God, that's making me so hungry.
Dinner's not going to be late. I'm going to call Scott. Come home now. I want to eat.
Lunch is going to be late, or dinner's going to be really, really early, right? I know, so good. Chef Chris from Perdue Farms, a corporate executive chef, thank you so much for sharing your personal recipe with us. And the story behind it is really beautiful too. So great dish. We'll have it up on the blog today so that you can make it yourself at home. It's really easy. So it's almost idiot proof. If I can make it, you can make it.
So you're not afraid of lamb anymore, right?
I'm not afraid of this lamb now that I've been taught by the master.
Yes, yes. Easy schmeezy. So next week, we are doing our holiday episode. We're going to do some appetizers. We're going to do different appetizers. I'll be making something. John will be making something. And we are going to have a bubbles tutorial, a sparkling wine infomercial from Sam Sydney. She can't be here in person, but she's going to tell us, because I think there's a lot of misinformation and people don't know what they should buy. Everybody calls everything champagne, and we know that that's not true. So we're going to have some great information for you for some nice, really great sparkling wine pairings for your holiday get-togethers.
So what are you going to make? Are you just closing?
Should I?
Yeah.
I'm going to make my mother's, I know, it's a trend, phyllo triangles, which are just like crack. They're traditionally made with spinach, but again, my dad, nothing green, no thank you. So that's just, it's a phyllo dough with cream cheese and feta cheese. And I'm going to show you how to make them, because this is one of those things that can be kind of intimidating using the phyllo dough, and you have to work quickly, but I'm kind of a master at it. So I'm going to show you how to do it, and you get it down, and it just takes a few minutes. Guaranteed to be the biggest hit at any party you go to or have. People notoriously burn the roof of their mouths when they eat them because they can't stand to let them cool off before they eat them.
I love it.
Yeah, they're great.
I'm making an asparagus tart, and it also it doesn't use phyllo dough, but it uses dough that you buy from the store, and it's one of those things. Again, you can make it. People love it. You cut it into little squares, and they just appear like that. Wow. So it's also in the cookbook. So if you have purchased my cookbook or want to purchase my cookbook, that recipe is in there.
Nice, nice. All right. And then after that, we have our breakfast for dinner Christmas morning episode, where we're going to be making another recipe from John's cookbook, which is this French toast. I can't wait to make it. And we are going to have an adult beverage pairing. Again, my family's favorite Christmas morning gin fizzes. So you're going to have.
Wow.
Have you ever had them? Have I ever made them for you? Has Scott ever made them?
Oh, no, but I love a gin fizz.
Jake. So, and that's in 2 weeks. So.
All right. So thanks for joining us. Go to Dinner's a Little Late and watch the video again, or you can come to twodadswithbaggage.com and pick it up there. It's replaying on my Facebook at Two Dads with Baggage, or the recipe is going to be on twodadswithbaggage.com. Thanks again to Chef Chris for sharing, and thanks to all of you for watching.
Thank you.
See you next week.
All right. See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.